Okay, so here we are continuing this series. We've got 3 series left. So let's go ahead and get right into it. My number 3 series is Persona, and so we are going to be starting, of course, with Persona 3, because there is no Persona 1, Persona 2, or Persona 2. I still haven't played them. I would very much like to at some point. I played a bit of 1 a few years ago, and then at one point just kind of never got around to it again. I didn't actively drop it. I haven't played 2 or 2. It's kind of weird that I can say that. Um, I've heard that 2 is amazing and that it arguably has the best story out of the entire series. So at some point, I'd very much like to play them. If they do get remakes, which it sounds like that's something that's been kind of floating around for a while, those are going to be like day one buys. I would absolutely love to be able to experience them. P6 still hasn't been announced, but it was leaked a while ago. I'm hopeful that at some point during the Game Awards, because it's usually where you'll get like a lot of like big trailers and announcements and stuff. Excuse me, I'm hoping we actually get a trailer for Persona 6. And one thing I will say before I actually get into Persona 3 proper is the first game I played in the series was P4. So again, I'm going to be going chronological order. Like just talk about 3 in general, including the remake. Talk about 4 in general, and talk about 5. I played Persona 4 knowing that like it was supposed to be a very good game. It was absolutely beloved. Didn't know a dang thing about it. I didn't know how it played. I didn't know anything about the plot, its aesthetic, social links, whatever. And I loved it. And so when I played Persona 3, I also knew basically nothing about Persona 3. And I don't know if I could say that I loved playing Fez. You know, we'll get to that in a second. And so when 5 came out, I made it a point to know as little as possible going in. Like, I saw when the game was announced, there was the, like, you're a slave, want emancipation thing. And I was like, okay, cool. Now that the game has been announced, it's live, I want to know nothing but the release date. And when I got a release date, I said, okay, I'm going to pre-order the special edition because I have that much faith in the game after playing Persona 4 and Persona 3. But like, I have that much faith that the game is going to be amazing. I don't want to see anything else. I don't want to see any trailers. I don't want to know who the main characters are. I don't know what the personas are. I don't want to hear any of the music. And slowly but surely, I was starting to learn things, not because I was looking, but like the game came out in Japan and people were talking about it, and Clay's like, I know you don't want to know anything, but I gotta show you this track real quick. I'm like, I don't want to see it. Or, you know, it's like there was a trailer at E3. I'm like, I don't want to look at it. And then my friends were showing it to me, and I'm like, please stop. So all that to say, once I see the initial trailer for 6, I'm like, cool. I now don't want to know anything until the game comes out. And this is the only series I do that with. With Kingdom Hearts, I'm like, tell me everything. I want to know every single world there is. When it comes for Pokemon, like, I'm gonna look at the leaks because things are gonna get leaked. Show me the Pokemon. And then every time I'm like, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that because just finding this thing and not knowing that it existed would have been so hype, but I do it all the time. I love going into Persona completely blind. But going into Fez. My biggest problem with Fez, I would assume is probably most people's biggest problem with Fez, it's the fact that I can't control my party. Oh, also, speaking of which, I've got this little Igus figure, and I think it's kind of neat. But anyways, it's the fact that I can't control my party, and I have a lot of problems just with the game's AI. Like, hey, Mitsuru, could you heal me real quick? No, I have a better idea. Marin Karin! Which never works. And then, the few times it does work, it's like, oh, what do you know? We actually charmed an enemy. So cool, now we've got an enemy that is now on our side. You know, it can drop money, it can maybe attack its allies. Why are you all attacking the one that got charmed? Why? I mean, I get it. The idea almost being, it's like, hey, that enemy was targeted by an ally, let me do the same thing. Or that enemy's in like a weakened state, let me go for it. I'm like, no, why are you dunderheads so dunder and heady? Persona 3 took me a very, very long time to beat. And a lot of it was because I just didn't like playing it. So I had very long breaks in between sessions. Like Persona 4 took me probably like a year plus to beat because I was only playing video games on like weekends and holidays, so I didn't have as much time. Persona 3 was kind of similar, but also I was just like, yeah, you know, I really don't want to have to play Persona 3 this weekend. Like, I remember I would wake up during like spring break or on a Saturday and be like, I'm so tired, I want to sleep. Wait, but if I sleep, I'm not playing Persona 4. Let me wake up so I can get more time into P4. And then with 3, I was like, I want to go to sleep. Wait, but if I go to sleep, I won't be playing Persona 3. And then I go back to sleep. I was not to say that there aren't good things in Fez. Number one, I think Persona 3 is the best social links in the series. And I say that as a big fan of the Confidants in 5. But I love the social link stories in 3. I love the atmosphere and aesthetic of 3. And has this very, Fez in particular, has this very kind of grungy, almost like dirty look to it that I think is very fitting. I liked the story, but the problem I had was because I would take so long in between my sessions playing the game. I'm like, I got the story more piecemeal than it was kind of supposed to be. And that's on me. It's also on the game for being asked to play. But I had said for years, if they ever come out with a version of Persona 3 that doesn't suck, because I've never played Portable, and I know there's people who really like Portable. It's got FemC, you can control your party members. I also understand there's a lot of other problems with Portable. I was like, if they make a definitive version of Persona 3, it might end up being my favorite. And then 3Load happened. And I will go ahead and say 3Load is not my favorite. I personally would not put it above Persona 5. I don't know if it's above Persona 4, because it's also been a long time since I played 4. That was, freshman year of undergrad? So, like, 2011? Maybe 2012? It's been a long time since I played 4. But 3Load doesn't have that problem. 3Load is actually really fun. I can control my party members, which alleviates a lot of the frustration. And yes, I know in Fez you can't give them direct commands, but you can still kind of give them an idea of the command to use. But the fact that I can't be as specific as I want is still a problem. I used a lot of Koromaru. And it's like, yeah, Koromaru, I want you to be on offense, because I want you to be blasting with Agidon. He goes, ruff, ruff, and then starts using Mudo. And I'm like, thanks, Koromaru, that was helpful. Or like, hey, I need Mitsuru on support right now because someone needs healing and like Yukari's turn isn't coming up. Yeah, what if I just use Mar and Karin? Like, I can give them an idea of what to do, but they can still be stupid because not a problem in 3Load. If they do something stupid, it's because I did something stupid. And that's on me. I will take that. It is my mistake. If it's going to be my mistake to make, I just want it to be my mistake, you know? If I'm going to be punished for someone doing something stupid, it needs to be me that does the dumb thing. But because I actually liked playing the game, I couldn't put the game down, which means I got to really experience the story. I will say, I liked Aigis a lot more this time around, and that might be because I actually put her in the party. I was like, wait, she's doing a lot of work. But I found Aigis and Fez just very boring and didn't really do much for me. And here I'm like, no, she's kind of growing on me a lot, and I actually did her social link and loved it. The members of C's, they're not my favorite cast. I think in order from bottom to the top, it goes C's, the Scooby Gang, and then the Phantom Thieves, but I like all three groups a lot. Junpei is easily my favorite member of C's, and he doesn't start off great. He doesn't leave a great first impression. Like, I don't hate the guy, but it's like, he gets a little annoying. And then he meets Chidori, and their arc happens, and it's some of my favorite shit in the entire series. I love Shinji. I love that Reload gave me a Shinji button. Then they took it away, and I'm still mad. But narrative wise, it really, really works. I liked Ken a lot more. I didn't use him. I used him a couple times. So it's not like with Aegis or I'm like, all right, now that I'm actually using this character, I appreciate them more. I just think Ken is written a little bit different. It's like the idea of the character is still there, but I think he was written a little bit more sympathetically, or maybe it was just the performance. But I liked his character a lot more. I felt like I liked Yukari more than I did in the original Fez. And again, I think a lot of that was the performance, because the original performance to me just felt a lot more abrasive, which I think is still kind of fitting for the character, but it didn't exactly endear me to her. And here I liked her a lot. Elizabeth is goated. Like, I absolutely love her. I feel like I liked Mitsuru and Akihiko more or less about as much as I did in the previous game, and they just buffed Koromaru. It's like, okay, his darkness spells actually do damage, so he's even more useful. I don't think he had debilitate in the original game, so he's way more useful. With the addition of Theurgies and he could just charge, he's way more useful. It's like, as a Koromaru fan, as a Koromaru believer and truther, I felt vindicated. I felt justified. That good boy was in my party. My main party was MC, Yukari, Aegis, and good boy. Akihiko did a lot of bench healing. I was like, all right, I'm gonna go down to the first floor. Akihiko, you're gonna diorama everybody. Thanks, dude. Never go back up. And like occasionally I would like kind of throw in Mitsuru. Occasionally I would maybe throw in like Ken, but not super often. One mechanic, was the tired mechanic even in this game? I don't remember, because if it is, it's only like super early and I don't remember it a whole lot. But it is a mechanic in Fez where early on your characters will get tired because of they're doing this at midnight and they have lives that they're doing. And if a character gets tired, you basically kind of have to retire them for the night and whatnot. It's a mechanic that I hate and love. I hate it because, like, all right, you're interfering with my ability to play the game. It sucks. But what I like about it is, A, it makes, again, like I said, it makes sense. They're school kids that just did a whole ass day of school and then extracurricular activities, and it's midnight. They're very tired. But as the game goes on, it just stops being a thing entirely. And it is because, like, your character's getting used to it. They're getting stronger. They can go for longer periods. And I just really like that integration of the story and the gameplay. I think I liked Ryoji fine in Fez. I felt like I liked him a lot more in 3-load and just found him more interesting. The social links are just as good as I remember them. I think Akinari is the best in the entire series. It is so hard to get through the whole thing without crying, especially, but I like to call them the rank 11s, like when you speak to everyone on the final day. Oh, that is impossible to get through. Like, I couldn't. I was weeping. And I remember the same thing happened to Clay. And I think when I was talking to Wyatt after he finished it, he's like, yeah, it got me too. Oh, God, just the ending in general. But that entire last day of saying goodbye to all these people that you knew, who you really cared about and who really cared about you, and them not knowing that this is the last time. Some of them hurt. They really hurt. And then you have Tanaka, which is just hilarious. And I'm like, oh, yikes. The music in both versions, I think, is great. I think I prefer 3-load a little bit more. Part of that is it has Full Moon, Full Life, which I love. I like, just as like an anime opening track, I think it's really good, but I just love the theme of the game there. And not to say that like Burn My Dread doesn't have it, not to say Memories of You doesn't, because it's Memories of You, but just that no matter how long or no matter how short your life is, make the most of it is very, very fitting for Persona 3. It also has Color Your Night, which I don't know if I would say it's my favorite song in Persona. I don't think it quite is, but I can make an argument. I love it. I've said before, like, I just love going on drives. You know, like driving around the lake, driving around the neighborhood. It is the perfect song when like the sun is down, especially now that we're in winter. It's like, all right, it's late, or it's 6 o'clock, but it looks late. Just driving around, got the windows down, listening to just this super chill vibe song. It's gonna be a good day, good night. Perfect. I really love this game. I am so glad I had a chance to play it. I'm so glad there's now a version of Persona 3 that I have played and went, oh, I absolutely love this. Just good shit all around. I made a video on it earlier this year. I don't know if I'd say it's my favorite video that I've done, but it's up there. Just, I either recorded it on a full moon, or I specifically like uploaded it on a full moon. I might have done both, like recorded it that night and was actually able to get it up. That would make sense. I specifically remember when I started recording, the way the light was coming into my room, it looked very blue. And I'm like, oh, okay, we've actually got like the tint going on. Like, this is really neat. I remember talking about Takaya's character and really having this breakthrough. I was like, I never liked Takaya, but I feel like talking about, I can really understand him. I still hate this dude, but I get it. And I remember at one point I was crying. It might have been a few points. It is Persona 3. I don't know what it was specifically, but I felt really happy with the one that one turned out. Now we move on to Persona 4. So like I said, I played this in like 2012, 2011-ish, and it took me a long time to finish. I talked earlier in the XC2 video, or just like the first video of this series, I was talking about Xenoblade and XC2 specifically, that the moment when we got into Elysium is one of my favorite moments from any video game I have ever played, because I just remember how I felt. Getting to the credits of Persona 4 is another one of those. It was just after like a year plus of all of this, all of the things me and my squad have gone through, all of just the emotions, all like the social links and the bondings and the hard fights like Mitsuo. God, I hate the Mitsuo fights so much. But after all of that, we're here at the end. And I was so happy. And not just like a, it's done, I never have to think about it again, fuck you game kind of way. We just, we did it. It just felt so good. I think Wyatt was there too. And it was just a really good time. When I played Persona 4, when I finished it, I think even before I finished it, I just kind of said, I think this is the best game I've ever played. I love the combat system to Persona, which I didn't really talk about in 3, but I guess it makes more sense here because it's the first one I played. I like fusion a lot. It's not quite monster collecting the way it is in Pokemon, but it still kind of is, so it appeals to me in that way. And I like the idea of fusion as well. You're just kind of putting shit together, seeing what you get. It's, again, not quite Pokemon Evolution, but kind of similar. I really like the system of, okay, you hit a weakness, you get another turn. Everyone gets knocked down, you can do like a more powerful attack. I think that's really fun. I like that it rewards me for making good decisions. I love social links. I like that they give you bonuses. So in 3, it's the bonus is better fusions of that Arcana. 4 is your party members will get effects in battle depending on how close you are. And of course, in the original game, it's you guys are now friends. Yosuke will now die for you, which, yeah, that's a bit much. That should be like a rank 9, rank 10 thing. In terms of gameplay, I love that it's there, but like that's a bit much. I can't lie. In Kingdom Hearts, that would make sense. You know, Sora would like Jack, you're in trouble. I got you. I will take the bullet. But I think it's a bit much here. But I like that there are benefits to hanging out with your friends. Not really for a lot of other people, so I didn't hang out with other people as much. I had a lot of trouble just maxing out my stats. Like, I never got to do Nanako or Dojima's social link all the way. really wish I had. I was like, I could not get expression. The thing was ass. But I really enjoyed the combat. I really enjoyed getting to know people. I really liked the calendar system of how do you want to spend your day. I think thematically it works a lot. It's not to say it doesn't work thematically here. You're like, all right, this is the day that we have to save this person by. How do we want to spend every day beforehand? I think it works. In 3, given the theme of this is all you got left, how do you want to use it? Like, that shit is powerful, man. But I like that system a lot. So when I was playing Cold Steel and Three Houses, games that do something similar, I'm like, oh yeah, this is like a very specific genre and niche of game that I really like and really enjoy. And that is because of Persona. I don't think I'm like crazy about the Adachi twist. It's not that I hate the fact that it's Adachi. It kind of feels like it comes out of nowhere. Like, it really feels like you pick Adachi because you're like, well, it's not anyone else, and not because you're like, oh, this makes a lot of sense. I mean, I guess it kind of does by the end, but I don't think it's great. It's better than the gas station attendant. I'll give it that. Oh yeah, I don't think I said anything about Ikutsuki when I was talking about 3. I don't like Ikutsuki. Like, him as just like the Punjin master, whatever, dude. Like, he's fine. As an antagonist, he's just so underbaked. It's like, cool, I'm now the villain, and then he's immediately taken care of. Like, there's no arc with him, there's no fight with him. That whole part of the game, I like that cutscene, I think is terrible. And I talked about it in a lot of detail in that video. I think Adachi has done a lot better, but I still don't think I love it. Again, I like the idea. I think the execution's a little off. Overall, though, it's a game I love. And like I said, for a very long time, I considered Persona 4 to just straight up be my favorite game. I have never played Golden. There's a part of me that's like, I should, because I love Persona 4. And given that, like, I've played multiple versions of 5 and I've played multiple versions of 3, they're more fresh, I should probably give this another chance. I don't want to say another chance, because that makes it sound like, oh, I didn't like it. Very clearly, that's not the case. I feel like I kind of want to experience it again, but I'm also like, it's going to be a really long game that I've already played, but I'm good with. Again, it's not like Persona 3, or I'm like, I need that good version of Persona 3. I'm like, I know a lot of people say Golden's better, but I feel like I got my good version already. I'm kind of good. But I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll play it. I know Clay has like the limited run edition that's supposed to be coming in soon-ish. Maybe I'll like watch him play that and just kind of get my vicarious experience. Maybe I'll play it myself. It sounds like there's talks about maybe now that 3 load came out that maybe, like, I don't know, be like reshuffled for Persona 4. I don't know. If that happens, I'll probably have to get it and be like, all right, let's see how it is. But I think that's really all I have to say about 4. So I get to talk about Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal. So first off, let me show off some of the merch. First off, I know I literally just said that, my bad. This is the copy of the game that I have. This game, the special edition, it is the Steelbook. So this is the front of the Steelbook. This is the back of the Steelbook. I think this looks tasty. It looks so cool. I love the black and white and the red. It just looks so freaking clean. It also came with this little Morgana plush that I have. And I've heard a lot of people shit on Morgana, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't get it. I'd also be lying if I said I agreed. I absolutely love Morgana. It also came with this bag. This Shujin Academy bag, which I just use all the time in my daily life. Like, this is where I keep, not my laptop. I keep my laptop just in my backpack, but it's, like, my backpack is where I'll keep clothes and laptop. That is where I keep everything else. My glasses, my chargers, my headphones, my notebook. Persona 5 came out, I think, my second year of law school. Excuse me. I think that was 2017. So that would have been the spring semester of my 2L year. So for the rest of my 2L year, I just used it like as my regular bag going back and forth from class. 3L year, I used it like exclusively. Like I said, like it's a neat piece of merch, but it's also like, no, I genuinely use this all the time. And then I've got this figure. This is one I got, I think, pretty late last year. It's an Arsene. Let me just look at him. You can't really see him super well through the thing, but I just think he looks super neat. And you see here on the back, he looks super neat. I talked about seeing Sora in Smash in the last video, how excited I was. It was the character I most wanted. When I saw Joker get announced, I was hyped. I went nuts. I don't play a lot of Joker in Smash. I don't play a whole lot of Sora either, but I do kind of like Sora. I don't love playing as Joker, but I just love that he's here. It makes me so happy. I love that I have Persona music, specifically Persona 5 music. Let me just talk about it for a bit. As I have said several times throughout the channel, and even said in the last video about Kingdom Hearts, Persona 5 is in my holy trinity of video games. Again, maybe it's a holy trapezoid because I should talk about KH1 as well. Because to me, the way I have described it before, it is the platonic ideal of a video game. To me, everything is damn near perfect. I love the characters. I love the overall story. I love the gameplay. I love the music. I love the art direction. I love the pacing. Yeah, the game is long as sin. I don't care. When Royal came out, speaking of which, here's Royal. I didn't get the special edition, but I made damn sure I was getting the steelbook. When Royal came out, I remember I'd like just finished playing Xenoblade 2. And Xenoblade 2 took me about a month to beat and about 60 hours. Royal took me about 120 hours over 2 weeks. It was twice as long, but half as short. I was not working at the time. I think not long after I finished it is when I got my previous job. So it was almost, in a way, kind of like my last big hoorah before, like, all right, let's like really try to get some of our shit together. And so I would have like a 5-hour session, do some shit, and then have another 5-hour session because I could not put the ding-dang thing down because I just think it's so good and just like so damn perfect. I've talked before, actually, I don't know how much I really have. Last Surprise is my favorite battle theme. And not just in Persona, like, it is my favorite battle theme in any JRPG. I think the music is fantastic. Being able to win a fight, like, before the lyrics kick in. Actually, I don't know if I'm able to do that. It's doing it before the chorus kicks in is really satisfying. Now, I love the chorus, but it's just being peak efficient feels so nice. It feels so good. I like Takeover a lot. I think it's a very good battle theme. I think it works. It's not as good as Last Surprise, though. Like, it's the one thing off the top of my head where I could say that Vanilla did it way better than Royal. There's an argument to be made about the ending. I'll talk about the ending here in a bit. One thing about Royal, it did make the game a lot easier. With like the way the twin social link works is you can just start summoning personas you should not be able to summon. I liked that. I liked having ways I could kind of abuse and cheat the system. I think that's fun. With Jose and the way Mementos was reworked, it really made the game a lot easier. You can get experience a lot easier. You can make money a lot easier. Like, things like Disaster Shadows can make fights go a lot quicker. I understand why that might rub some people the wrong way. I know with 3 in particular, I don't think anyone's really upset that you can control your party members, but some of the things like the Theurgies and, again, with the way that some of the cards work in Shuffle Time, you can kind of break the game. I understand people being like, this made it a little too easy. It didn't bother me in Royal, because for me, I just kind of was like, look, I played Vanilla Persona 5 only a couple years ago. I'm happy to be able to replay one of my favorite games. Quick pen. But I also really want to get to the new content. And the fact that there's a lot of stuff in the game that's kind of making it easier means I'm going to be able to get to the new shit faster. This just kind of feels like I'm playing Persona 5 on New Game Plus, so I don't mind it at all. If it was my first time through either version, I might have been like, this is a little too easy, but I still think it's neat. I played both on Merciless, like that and 3-load, or whatever the equivalent of Merciless is, like the hardest difficulty that was available. Quick pin out. So I had said for Persona 4, at the time I played it, it was my favorite game. When 5 was officially announced and coming out, I had said, if Persona 5 is not my favorite game ever by the time I finish it, I will be disappointed. I was not disappointed. Now, currently, there's an argument to be made it is not my favorite game ever. But I don't consider it a disappointment. Some of the other things I want to say about Royal is Maruki and Sumi. I love Maruki. I think the way he's integrated into the game, for me, feels very seamless. It's a part in the game that I think makes sense. I think his social link is really interesting. I think the times like you interact with him and are kind of forced to interact with him, like, no, this feels really natural to the point where I'm like, oh yeah, he's not in the original game. Why wasn't he? And the game makes no bones about hiding the fact that, you know, the main antagonists are based off the 7 deadly sins. However, you also have Vanity with Madarame, which is not one of the 7, but it's one of the 9 with Thomas Aquinas. Not that Thomas Aquinas was a sin, but Thomas Aquinas added 2, Vanity and Sorrow. Sorrow is not a thing in the game. And me personally, I actually don't even think that's just a me personally thing. I think they kind of go either way to say it. Maruki is Sorrow. And I'm like, I'm really glad that they added that, because to me, it felt missing in the first game. Not that to me that Persona 5 really felt like there is a hole here, but it just felt weird. It's like, you added number 8, why didn't you add number 9? And then they went and added number 9, and I was very happy with it. Sumire, on the other hand, I do love her story when you get to it. But the times where she is added into the game, unlike Maruki, who, like I said, like, oh, this feels very seamless, this feels like this could have been here originally, Sumire always felt like, no, this is kind of taking me out of what's happening. It feels like this is just being added. If I had never played the original game, I might not have felt that, or maybe because I think I've heard some people say, it's like, yeah, like, I never played Original 5, I only played Royal, and the scenes with her just felt weird and kind of tacked on. Again, by the end, I loved her character. It just felt kind of off. I mentioned earlier how much I love the Phantom Thieves. It's like, they are my favorite cast. I just really like them. Ryuji is my favorite. Ryuji is my ride or die. He is my darling, my baby boy, my absolute golden child. Also, Futaba made me cry. Not the first time I played the game, but when I got to her arc in Royal, there was a part, I think it's like when you're talking to Sojiro just about her life and her story, like, it got me. Speaking of which, Sojiro is one of my favorite characters in Persona. I absolutely love this dude. I love his suit. I love that he's just a great dad. I really love his relationship with Joker. And how it's, even at the start, where he's, you know, a bit gruff and not necessarily cold towards him, but it's like, hey, look, I'm doing this as a favor. You know, I'm going to give you the attic. You're going to have to work around. He's kind of giving him some tough love. But just the fact that this dude is doing it at all for someone he doesn't know speaks volumes about the kind of person Sojiro is. And just as the game goes on, I don't know how I want to say it. He's just goated. let me just say that. Like, I just really, really liked this character. I do want to talk about the endings. So the ending... I didn't really talk about the endings to the other two games. So Persona 3's ending is... I talked about it a bit. It's just heartbreaking, it's devastating, and it's beautiful. The ending to Persona 4 is just, you go home, and as you're on the train, your friends are waving goodbye, and it's like the ending of Digimon, and it's great. I love it. Vanilla Persona 5 is... Joker's gonna go home, and he's still under surveillance, and the rest of the team's like, okay, we know you're going home. We know it's gonna be a while till we see you again. But who says you have to go home straight away? Like, if there's a couple dozen detours, is anyone gonna be that upset? Come on. Why don't we enjoy our vacation? Let's just take a road trip. And I love that. It's like, this is my squad. These are my boys. Let's just have a good time and enjoy it. Because we fucking earned it. And it's wonderful. Then you get the ending of Royal, which doesn't happen. You don't go on the road trip. Your friends are kind of doing you a solid, but they don't really see you off the way that they did in 4, or kind of tried to do in 3, and I guess did do in 3. It's just kind of a goodbye, we'll do what we can, but we got shit to do. I've talked to some of my friends, and they're like, I hate the ending of Royal. The fact that you don't really get a proper goodbye with your friends, and Maruki's now just like a cab driver. He doesn't seem like he's doing very well, and with all the stuff that we did together, all the things we went through, it just feels, like wrong or anticlimactic. And I get it. I really do. I do remember talking to my buddy Chris about... He was like, dude, no one sees you off. Like, it's so shitty. And then I don't remember exactly what I said, because he hasn't played Persona 3 yet. And I made some kind of comment about how Persona 3's is like kind of sad. And he was like, dude, if at least one of my friends sees me off, it will be better. I'm like, he does not know what he just said. Like, that is so hilariously sad. That's perfect. But anyways, as much as I love the ending of Vanilla 5, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't prefer it because the vibes, I do love the ending of Royal. That extra semester and everything with Maruki gave them everything they could have ever wanted. Maruki took away their pain. An and Shiho are completely fine. None of the trauma happened. Ryuji's leg is completely fine. He's able to run with track again. Haru has her dad back, and they have a really good relationship. Yusuke has his mom back. I believe he has Madarame back as well. And he's like an actual student now. Futaba has her mom back. Who am I missing? Morgana's now a person. Sketchy Akechi is still alive. I think I hit everyone in the cast. Everyone got reset. Now, they still have, like, their memories of each other and everything. They're like, hey, we're good. We're happy. It's like the ending of Azure. Like, this is what Grimwood was trying to make. And it doesn't feel right. And again, I've talked to some of my friends who are like, no, like, I would have taken that 10 times out of 10. I wish we could have just sided with Maruki there. And I mean, I guess at the end you kind of can. I believe you have the option to say that, like, yeah, I'll take the world. I don't remember if you do or not. But I have friends who are like, yeah, I think that's the better ending. He's making everyone happy. And it's not like it's an illusion, like he has reality warping powers. It is real. It just doesn't sit right with me. And the reason it doesn't is, me personally, I don't want to say that, like, I've had a hard life, because I know people who have had hard lives. but we all have our struggles, we all have our trauma, we all have our losses. And genuinely, I feel like a lot of those struggles and traumas and losses and failures have made me the person I am today. For better or for worse, but I think a lot of that is for better. And a lot of that makes me want to be even better than the person I am. And I'm working toward that and striving toward that. I have a lot of things in my life that I want. I have, to use Celeste's term, it's like I've got mountains that I want to climb. Some of them are obstacles that I need to overcome. Some of them are goals, and I just can't wait to get to the summit and just have that moment of peace and just exhale that I did it. And for it to just be given to me on someone else's whim doesn't feel right. I kind of talked about this with Celeste, where I did a playthrough without obstacles because I wanted to see how it felt. I was like, I kind of need to play Celeste, but I don't think I need that version of Celeste. And I played it in one sitting. Like at one point I went to go get food, but basically one sitting. And I noted that it's a lot more calm and comfortable and kind of relaxing, but to me it's not the same. It doesn't hit the same as having to work for it and having to conquer it, and again having those failures, those mistakes. They make the victory that much more meaningful, and to me that's what Maruki's world lacks. So I'm actually just looking at my notes, how did I actually write it here? I'm just going to straight up read this for a bit. I had said, I don't want an illusion of happiness. I don't want someone to undo the things I've been through. They've changed me for the better. They've made me want and need to be better. Loss sucks. Heartbreak sucks. But they're both important. I want to be happy. I want to achieve my goals, but I want to work for them because it's the work that makes it meaningful. Someone giving me everything I want doesn't sit right with me. And that's why, for me, I like the idea of rejecting Maruki. And the ending of Royal is your friends coming to that same conclusion and understanding our losses made us better people. And them really kind of deciding, this is what I want to do with my life and with the rest of my time. I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. Well, I want to do this. And the ending of Royal is everyone saying, I wish that I could spend more time with you. I wish that we could go and just have a road trip and hang out. But I can't, because I've got to get my shit together. And I'm going to get my shit together, and I wouldn't be able to do it if it's not for you. And you have my eternal gratitude, and I will see you again, because we're going to hang out, whether it's one-on-one or a reunion or we're just texting or calling. I will see you again. But I got to take care of myself right now. And I feel like Joker's I got you. And I really, really love that. So that's Persona. I have 2 series left, and it's already been 43 minutes, which means I should probably go ahead and end this here, but number 2 is Pokemon. I feel like I can get through Pokemon pretty quick. It's Pokemon. But what is there to really say? I guess I should probably say this. Honestly, when it comes to series 1 through 3, I could theoretically put them in any order. I'm kind of still almost going back and forth on it. I feel like Kingdom Hearts is a very solid 4. KH1 does a lot of heavy lifting, and so does KH2 to kind of put it above a lot of those other series. But the rest of the series, to me, holds it back from the top 3. Persona, I could be convinced to put it at number 1. I could certainly be convinced to leapfrog it over Pokemon. But here's the thing. Pokemon has been a part of my life forever. It's kind of like something I talked about with Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts has been with me since 2002-ish, maybe 01. Pokemon has been with me since, what, 99? 2000? It's important to me. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. I was going to show, like, I've got some Persona 5 posters. I don't know how well you can see them. It's like one here at the top. You can't really see me pointing. One here at the top, one in the middle, and then another below it that's kind of blocked by Musashi. Then over here, I've got like some Eevees. I've got a Pikachu shirt. I have another Pikachu shirt that I wear pretty often. Actually, let me go get this real quick. I do have some Pokemon things I do kind of want to show off. So here's a couple like plushies that I have that I think Clay got me for Christmas over the past couple years. This is a Mimikyu disguised as a Sylveon. Someone made these like for every Eevee, and so I chose Sylveon because it's my favorite. I named it Bobby Corwin. I got problems with Final Fantasy IX, but I love all the things with the black mage. It's like I love the Bobby Corwin thing. And then he got me this. It is a Clodsire plush, and it is just a big, beautiful, friend-shaped blob, and I love everything about it. I know I've got a lot of just Pokemon toys and collectibles from all my time in Okinawa. That's in storage somewhere. I kind of wish I knew where they were. And we also got this. This is the mascot of my channel. It's just a Venonat riding a bike. The bike is from Small Soldiers. I don't know if this was ever in the movie. I don't remember it, but it was like a toy with like a Chip Hazard that fit on it. I don't know where the Chip Hazard is, but at one point I just kind of saw this and went, can the Venonat fit on the bike? Oh, he kind of fits kind of well on the bike. I like that. And Venonat's not my favorite Pokemon. It's Eevee, but I've always really liked Venonat. I just like the way it looks. I think it's neat. And I don't know. I just thought it really worked. So it's my channel image. I've kind of considered a few times, like, should I change it? Should it just be like a picture of me? Should it be, I don't know, maybe it should just be behind, like a picture of my cat? I'm like, no, I like this. I am wondering, it's like, should I commission someone to just like draw it? So it's not just a literal thing, like it's just like Venonat on a bike. I don't know. It's like, I don't know if I want to give it a cigar. That might be going a bit far, but more accidental rhyming. But I think it'd be kind of fun. Just a Venonat with a Galactus. Like, it looks like Terminator, like Arnold in Terminator 2, but it's just a fucking Venonat. That's tempting. I kind of want to do that. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm getting really off topic. I thought I could get through Pokemon quick, and I haven't even really talked about it. I just love playing Pokemon games. I get super excited anytime there's a new Pokemon game. I guess to kind of go through each gen. I know I said I can do it quick. Let's see if I can. Gen 1, RBY, it's jank, half the game doesn't work, and I don't care. I had a lot of fun playing it. I played it more or less when it came out. I made Gen 1er, but Gen 1's not my favorite gen. That's really all I think there is to say. Oh, Mew in the truck. I remember the good old days of that. I remember the good old days of that on the playground. I have actually done it because my friend had a Brain Boy, which is basically a Game Shark for the Game Boy. There is no Mew under the truck. We actually tried to, cut the tires or use strength to push it. Nothing worked. But I think I've heard there's a ROM hack. I think it's that ROM hack for Pokemon Crystal that came out recently that I'm really interested in checking out. I think I heard they actually did put Mew under the truck. Like, that's so cool. I love that. So moving on to Gen 2. I love it. Johto is my favorite. I know Johto has its problems. I just don't care. I've played a lot of like Silver and Crystal. It has a very special place in my heart. Gen 3. So this is RBY. This is RSE. I've never played Emerald, but I've heard Emerald's amazing. I've played Ruby multiple times. I don't like it as much as Johto, but I do like Ruby. I think Team Aqua and Magma are like whatever, but I do more, like, I like the region. I like a lot of the new Pokemon. I was just mad that Eevee got cut. There were other Pokemon that are in the base decks, but Eevee, I was like, oh, but we had a bunch in Gen 1, and we had 2 more in Gen 2. Why would you do this to me? And then Fire Red and Leaf Green, I'm like, oh, you just took Gen 1 and made it good. I like this game. Gen 4 is Sinnoh. I don't like Diamond very much. Diamond is my least favorite Pokemon game. I think it's slow. I think it is loaded with HMs. I think the dex is pure dog shit. I think Diamond is a miserable experience. Platinum, on the other hand, it's still kind of slow. But I'm like, okay, so you made the... And it's still, like, I don't like all the HMs, but you made the decks way better. And I just had a much more fun time, probably because I picked Chimchar instead of Turtwig. Turtwig was kind of a miserable experience. I specifically remember it never learning Earthquake. Because it reached the level to become Torterra as a Grotle, but I lost that fight. So he didn't evolve. And then when he evolved, because he's supposed to learn Earthquake upon evolution, but when mine did, the prompt never came up, so he never learned Earthquake, so he was, like, useless. Chimcharm on Ferno and Infernape never had that problem. Never learned Earthquake, but was never useless. Also, I had an Umbreon that made me like, I've always liked Umbreon, but Umbreon just tanking was amazing, and gosh, I loved the endgame of Platinum. That's also when we got our Gen 2 remakes, and it gave me Soul Silver, and Soul Silver is just my favorite Pokemon game. I have great memories of that. I know Clay is not a fan of it. He's like, the end game in particular is so grindy, and the fact that there's different shit on different days means, like, I'm kind of limited in what I can do, and it bothers me. I'm like, I loved that, because for me, I'm like, hey, I can just, like, pick the game up, and, oh, it's Tuesday, let me play it for, like, an hour, go fight Blaine or whatever. Like, I really enjoyed that. I grinded for red by battling reds. It's like, I'm gonna go right up that mountain, I'm gonna fight, I'm gonna lose, but I'm gonna get a little further each time. We're gonna get a little stronger each time, and I just enjoyed that. I really did. I don't know, maybe I'm a masochist or something, but I love that experience. Then you Gen 5, which is Black and Black 2. I love Pokemon Black. I think the story is great. I love N. I love Dennis. Dennis. I love Team Plasma. I really liked my rivals here. And how it's like, yeah, here's the more friendly rival in her story. Here's the more serious rival and, you know, your relationship with him. I liked the reset of all new Pokemon. A lot of them are very familiar. It's like, okay, here's my Zubat, but with a twist. Here's my Machamp, but with a twist. But I still enjoyed them. I did not care for Garbodor or the ice cream, but they grew on me a lot. They really have. I'm still not sure about Clang Clang. It's almost kind of grown on me, but I'm still like, I don't know. I don't know what it is about this one. I just don't love it. But I really liked my experience with Black. Black 2, I don't really remember. I remember having a Dunsparce for like half the game, and it was useless, but I didn't care because I loved Dunsparce. I remember liking it. And I probably loved it. There's kind of a weird blank there. Let's see, Gen 6, that's X and Y. I had a lot of fun with it. That's when the forced XP share was there, and it's great to avoid grinding. It also does make the game a lot easier. There is a trade-off there. It is very Gen 1 happy, but, I mean, I've got nostalgia for it, so it's not like I hated it. I love Mega Evolution. Did not care for Lysander at all. I think he kind of sucks. I think Diantha's really easy, but she's kind of neat. And then there's Ors. I know it's Oras, but saying Ors rolls off the tongue better. But you know what I mean. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. It's Hoenn again. I think I liked it more or less about as much as original Ruby. I think I've heard a lot of people be like, it's not nearly as good as original Ruby, but the Delta episode's great. I don't know. I thought it was fine. Like, the game as a whole, like, I enjoyed it. Zinnia's theme is amazing. Gen 7, I love Sun and Moon. I have not really played Ultra Sun and Moon. I was doing a Nuzlocke, and the star of my show was an Arbok. And I fought this trainer who had a Gabite, and my brain just was like, oh, Dragon. I can deal with that. Oh, I forgot it's a ground type. And there goes Arbok, and then the run was just done. It was Totem Mimikyu that took us out. Because I was like, I don't really have anything that matches up well into your typing. I mean, I guess I did with Arbok, but Arbok's not here anymore. And then the run ended. But base Sun and Moon, it is kind of slow. I'm not big on how, like, it's not like it's a perfect experience, but it basically gave me the Orange Islands game that I've kind of always wanted, and I appreciated that. I love Alola. I love Kukui. I mean, it's your boy Guzma. I love Guzma. I love Lily and Lucamine. I think their relationship is really interesting. I think Lily's development over the game is really good. I just love Lucamine as an antagonist. And it also gave me Nebby. I adore Nebby. I think that was it for Gen 7. And then Gen 8 is Swish. And also the Let's Go games. I haven't played the Let's Go games. I know a lot of people shit on Swish, and I get it. I know people aren't happy about Dexa. I know people aren't happy about the way the game looks. The game needed to have voice acting. The fact that it doesn't, I think, is a problem. There's parts where it's noticeable, like with Piers or at the very opening of the game. The game is very, very easy. I had another problem. It's just Chairman Rose. Like, the end game with his plan is just weird and doesn't really make sense. I like a lot of the Pokemon they gave me in Gen 8, though. I liked having... I've said before, I'm not an open world guy, but I've always said, give me an open world Pokemon and I will be the happiest dude ever. They didn't quite give it to me, but they kind of did with the wild area, and I liked that. The DLCs are basically open worlds, and like I'm enjoying just walking around and seeing Pokemon. That's what I want. Mousetrap is just, roll the dice and move your mice. That's basically what I want in Pokemon. Give me cool things to find and catch. Give me cool things to battle. I know a lot of people talk about how it's like, Pokemon has gotten stale. Pokemon sucks. We as a fan base need to demand more. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but they are giving me exactly what I want. I'm not saying I wouldn't be happier with a better game. One that functions, Scarlet and Violet. But they still give me what I want. I am happy playing Pokemon games. It's kind of my comfort. Speaking of which, Scarlet and Violet. Actually, I think Arceus came out first. Let me talk about that real quick. This is my other favorite Pokemon game. It is the Pokemon game I have been wanting basically my entire life. To just, here's an area, explore, there's Pokemon everywhere. It's to me, it's damn near perfect. Scarlet and Violet don't work. They're very janky. They run like shit. They are full of glitches. I did enjoy having an open world full of Pokemon. I did enjoy a lot of the Pokemon available. I loved Area Zero. When I got to Area Zero, it felt like going into Elysium. I was like, I feel like I'm playing a Xenoblade game right now, and this is amazing. I really like the rivals, or like your friends and their individual stories, how they all come together. I love what they do with the professor. I think it's so interesting. I'm so excited for Gen 10. I'm so excited for Pokemon Z. You had me at Legends. It was like, okay, like we're gonna be rebuilding Paris. Let's go. I am excited. I'm excited for new Mega Evolutions. I'm excited to see old Mega Evolutions. I am so happy that the regional variants from Alola is now just a recurring thing. I am so excited to see Colossian forms. I do have to get some shout-outs to some side games. I love Mystery Dungeon 2. Absolutely fantastic game. I love the Colosseum games so much. I was actually watching a video yesterday. What's the guy's name? I think it was Sparkle, I think. I apologize if I got your name wrong. Who was talking about, like, ways to break a speed run of Colosseum. And, like, what was it called? Like, Lab Death, I think, with Plusle. Like, it was really interesting. Like, I'm not into speed running or like that. That's actually really cool. I kind of appreciated that. Is there anything else I really want to say about Pokemon? Not really. It's just, like I said, it's Pokemon. It kind of goes without saying. I just like seeing new creatures. I love the journey and the experience of going to a region and not just being like, this is the team I want to get, I want to build it, and just seeing what Pokemon I vibe with. And like building my JRPG squad, not because I've got a plan, but because I'm just going on vibes and meeting my team and going through shit together. there's not a lot that really beats that for me. It's, you can make an argument that I should have Persona higher, but I'm like, I don't know. You can make arguments about the quality and consistency of Pokemon, but for me, it has always been consistent. It has been a consistent thing in my life. It has been consistently fun. I always look forward to new games. I always have fun playing new games, even with my problems with Diamond. I think number 2 feels fair. It could genuinely make an argument for number 1. But I think Trails in the Sky stands alone at number 1. And this has been an hour, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it tomorrow or Friday based on timing, but hopefully on Saturday I'll be able to finish this series by talking about Trails in the Sky.